you give us some of his thoughts pertaining to this market reaction, day 4 of this Iran war in the Middle East conflict? Your thoughts?
I mean, well, we're seeing the market right now pull back. It had room to pull back. Everything has run really well. It's been strong. And, now we're seeing some of the hiccups and the volatility of a changing world order. And so I think one of the places that we should probably be paying attention to is even looking at silver right now. It's down 10% on the day. What happens typically in the midst of war is that people buy gold, they buy silver. Sovereigns have been doing this in very significant ways. ISO has ultimately, made it available for banks to be owning this as a tier 1 asset. I think this is an incredible opportunity for those that are paying attention. And so, to your point, I think that this war is going to be settled out pretty quickly. Could we have conflicts in the Straits and with some of the transport of oil? Yes. Let's own oil. Let's be pro-U.S. Drill baby drill is going to happen here. And so I'd be focusing on U.S.-based stocks.
So there are buying opportunities, in your opinion. I mean, if this goes 4 or 5 weeks and it's going, ahead of schedule, according to the president, how would you sort of navigate through this?
I mean, I think that people should be also raising some cash right now, if I could just be honest. There could be some challenges ahead of us as the consumer's getting weaker right now. I mean, when we see Walmart and Target and everyone else selling more because everyone's pulling back a little bit on what they're spending, they're making better decisions. I think that there's room right now for things to go a little bit lower. And so the buying opportunities that I recognize are metal miners, are silver and gold specifically when we see big sell-offs today. One of the big things underlying...
I asked that to a prior guest about gold selling off today. So 5,100 had been at 5,400. He said it's today a buying opportunity. You think so?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. In fact, if you even look at the COMEX flows right now, since October, 50% of all COMEX assets have been drained out of the reserve. So we're literally within like a month or two of actually having zero silver in the futures markets to be able to leverage ounces against. This is an underlying fact that very few people are following right now. Nothing structurally has changed. This is an absolute gift and sale right now. And so I'm a buyer literally today.
Let's talk about AI and the blockchain. We haven't talked enough about that in the last 48 hours because we've been so focused on oil and other things pertaining to Iran. What's going on with AI and blockchain for those people who love tech?
Okay, so for those that love tech, AI and blockchain are merging. They're getting married. They're creating more efficient systems and ways of doing business, ultimately getting things into the real world at a more efficient rate. I can tell you so many different applications right now of how to bring down the consumer costs at the grocery store, how to bring down the efficiencies and just exchanging cash with you. Use Zelle, Apple Pay as an example. And so what we're recognizing right now is that as AI gets more integrated into our lives, maybe it becomes our personal assistant, helps us to get that dental, visit in at the right time.
Agentic AI,
That's right. So that's Web 3.0, that goes to Web 4.0, and so on and so forth.
How do we make money on this? What do we buy?
Okay, so what you're going to be buying right now are organizations like Ethereum. You're going to be buying XRP, Ripple. By the way, pay attention to the fact that they have integrated into banks. And so follow where the big money's going. As we're looking at AI, I mean, any of the big AI players are going to be around, right? It's just how do we actually get them integrated and what are the contracts that they're ultimately getting? And so I think that Microsoft is going to do pretty well in that space because they've got all the desktop items and everything else. Apple's going to continue to perform, especially if they can get a wallet and we can get more integration into the banking system. So I think that you're going to see variations of this move forward here into 2026 and to 2027. I think everyone's expecting a slightly different financial system coming. And so the answer to that is it's going to be stable coins, it's going to be cross-border transfers, it's going to be more efficient ways of doing things. And so a lot of these companies are not necessarily money, like Ethereum isn't money, it's the actual functionality of real-world integration and how it makes your life easier.
Right, the chain of point A, point B, I don't know, the communication story.
Absolutely.
So whether some companies survive and some don't, that's not the story for Ethereum. It's getting everything across in that communication. Notable non-mention, you mentioned XRP, you mentioned Ethereum, notable non-mention was Bitcoin.
Well, okay, so here's the deal. I'd love to own Bitcoin, okay? I believe in Bitcoin. But if I'm looking at where the greatest upside is, Bitcoin at 167 versus Ethereum at 135 right now, I'm buying Ethereum at, or I'm sorry, or
67.
XRP.
Wait,
XRP is at 145.
Bitcoin's at 67,000. Is
Yeah.
that what you meant? Okay.
And XRP is at 145. And so the point is there's much higher upside, in my opinion, in the short term for Ripple as the integration gets out there. I think that Bitcoin could go down if we see the NASDAQ dip, but the integration play is going to be the XRP, Ripple, and Ethereum.
People are worried about the financials. I mean, they've been beaten down lately. Private credit's a big story, and worry, a lot of concerns there. Is it legitimate? What's really going on?
Liquidity is drying up. Every small and medium-sized business right now is looking for liquidity. Where is it? Where do you go? What do you do? And so interest rates are very high right now. Well, let's look at rate cycles, because interest rates went up. Every good CFO got the most amount of debt possible in 2020, 21, and 22. Those were on 5-year terms. And so that started being renewed in 2025. The biggest refinancing cycles happening in 2026 and then 2027. If we don't get interest rates lower, it hamstrings small and mid caps very specifically, because they don't have the same leveraging power as the big guys do, sitting on huge, cash reserves and lots on the sidelines. So they need CapEx.
Wasn't everybody just running to private equity rather than running to the banks anyway?
I mean, yes. And so, but it's limited. The banks have the ability to leverage in more significant ways. And so ultimately, we're seeing credit get a little icy here. Interest rates are very high, and they've got to refinance these things, specifically even in real estate right now. And real estate is a concern for me in 2026.
I wanted to check the aerospace and defense stocks. I didn't look at those yet today. Well, I see Lockheed Martin off the highs, but it's down 2%, but hit a new high. Northrop Grumman, I'll peek at that. What do you think about this group?
I mean, what happens when the world starts to go into war? I mean, you're going to see these organizations resupplying, reshoring.
Yeah.
By the way, they need silver, though, just to be clear. And so it could be more expensive for them to be doing business right now, given the fact that silver is the way that we have to create those assets. I mean, just to be honest, NVIDIA, you want NVIDIA chips, you need silver. You need silver to do data centers. You need silver to do solar panels. Infrastructure, the commodities. China choked it out in January, very specifically, just going back to the silver point again. And now we've got disruption from Mexico. And so these things actually create supply constraints. And so I do believe that these organizations are going to be profitable. I think that they're going to be very relevant. We need data security as well. But to the point here, things are getting more limited. It's going to be a little bit of a choppy road in front of us. I'd say have some cash, buy the dips. That's the opportunity.
Do you take your cash from XLE or some energy play? Because right now, 3 months, the XLE is up 25% almost.
I mean,
is that where you would take some cash off the table?
I'm still in those positions at this point, just because it's not been figured out. I've taken some from my more AI and Meg 7 positions,
I see.
and I've allocated into some cash. And the reason for that is, of course, dry powder for moments like this. And so, I mean, when you see silver down 10% in a day when it's constrained, I'm just telling you, that is an opportunity. SIL, great opportunity.
All right, David Stryzewski, Sound Planning Group. Thank you so much